Hello and welcome to another episode of Down and Dirty with Dr. T. That's brought to you by India's homegrown research platform Poocho that helps brands run live interviews with their end consumers for feedback and insights. Today, I have with me an old friend of mine. He's one of my closest friends from Bombay, but now he's moved to Bangalore. Ankit Vengurlekar. Ankit is an award-winning seasoned journalist, podcaster, communications trainer, content creator, and personal brand consultant now for CXOs. He's trained hundreds of media study students, video content creators, and even dozens of digital journalists in his 20-year-long career in content and communications. Guys, he was doing content before content was a thing. That's how long I've known him. And you're probably doing that even before I met you. But when I met you in the early 2000s, that's what he was doing even then. He's a keen technology observer. In fact, we had a show called Tech Toys and always fun gadgets to play with and some breaking news. And Taapsi, have you heard about this? What? You're not using this? That's how I know my conversations with Ankit. And he's right now, if you see him on LinkedIn, you see him on any social media platform, he's busy making videos with his commentary on defining tech like generative AI. And of course, his other passion, food. He's also a mindfulness coach and a trained yoga instructor. So basically, there's nothing that Ankit Vengurlekar cannot do or has not done or has not touched. Ankit, it is great to have you on the show.
Such a delight to be here, Taapsi. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so excited for this chat to share with you some of my work tips, tricks, hacks. Essentially what you and we've been talking informally off camera for years and years and years. It's good to put it down on a video. And congrats to you for amazing work that you're doing with Poocho.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is all about you and you've done everything. You're a jack of all trades, but give us a sense, a flavor of what Ankit is doing these days. If you had to, and the way I want you to do that, Ankit, is I want you to take me through morning to evening. Like, what does a day in your life right now look like?
Wow. Right now, as we speak, I'm on vacation in Goa, which explains the setting. I'm sitting in a hotel room with steady Wi-Fi and air conditioning. But
Amazing.
That's a great question. So as a freelance content consultant, no 2 days are the same. And I've been on this journey for most part of the last year. In July last year, I decided to take a conscious career break from full-time employment. I'd been working nonstop for approximately 19 years. You're privy to most of that journey.
Yeah.
And so the idea was to consciously put myself on a slow pace, slow living, slow thinking, slow doing, all of that, including slow content. It's a whole different family of content where you don't take an image, you make an image. So I'm traveling with my DSLR so I can make an image and not just click with iPhone to upload to Insta stories. But long story short, the kind of clients I work with differs big time. Generally, my day begins with 1 to 2 hours of my own mindfulness well-being practice, which is yoga, pranayam, dhyan, meditation, or this cool new workout called Takda Raho, which is Indian mudgars and gadas and all of that. But some form of being outdoors and being one with nature and that. So that's essentially between 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning. After that, I go into my first work block of the day. I work in 2 work blocks as a freelancer. That's the beauty that, you can design your work blocks. And my first work block is essentially between 9 to 11 or 9 to 12 in the morning. And my second work block is between 2 to 4, 2 to 5. Okay? Between that are very critical, important activities like an early lunch. I lunch around 12:30, and a good Netflix web series session or Susegad. I've been living the Goa lifestyle before I visited Goa, which is a good 1.5 hour afternoon nap, right?
Yeah.
So typically my days go between consulting with brands on their content strategy, consulting with startups on their content strategy, mentoring, tutoring some or the other CXO or startup founder or student or content creator on building their own pipeline of continuous content on social media. In fact, right after this podcast recording, I'm coaching 2 lawyers who want to kickstart their content creation journey on Instagram, and they want
Amazing.
Exactly. So no 2 days are the same. And,
Right.
I love the flexibility and unpredictability. It's not for everyone. People who love their days, weeks, months fully planned out. I live on impulse. I love impulse. So there's a bit of that. So my work blocks could entail anything from super deep research on a subject that I'm tracking, which over the last year or so organically has been generative AI. So I read a lot. I'm reading newsletters, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm watching videos. And, you know, a lot of my own processing happens when I create content about it.
Right.
Building in public is an ethos which is very popular for startup entrepreneurs and founders. For me, I've always built in public because my way of assimilating and absorbing that information is regurgitating in my own simpler words to share it with my community, which is essentially what I've been doing at CNBC when we work together. Tech Guru was all about taking complex technology, breaking it down in Hindi for Hindi-speaking markets. Tech Toys was all about doing that similarly for the English-speaking audiences on CNBC TV, CNN, and IBN. And so that's pretty much been a theme of my entire life, taking complex words and technologies and trends, understanding it myself, and then regurgitating it in simpler, easier to understand and relate words for social media content. So between the work blocks, I don't even know at what point consumption turns into creation for me. I'm consuming something, it hits an idea, and I'm like, this is interesting. I need to amplify this. I need to talk about this. Or I need to just ask questions in the open that, oh my God, what are we going to do with this? A lot of it is not like me stating my opinion, because that would indicate a culmination of a thought process. A lot of time, these are just thought starters, which I like sharing with my community and engaging them in a conversation. So that's the nature of these two work blocks. So my work blocks are essentially maximum 4 to 5 hours of work, and at least an equal amount, if not more, ideally more, amount of play. And for me, play is a walk in Cubbon Park, or going and visiting and discovering newer lakes in Bengaluru, or going and doing birding, photography, or going and discovering a new restaurant and sharing that with friends and creating social media content. So that's essentially what my life looks like right now.
So with all of these things that you're doing, which by the way, makes me want to have your life sometimes. But what would you say are challenges or roadblocks or obstacles or things that you need to work on in order to do your jobs better, or to put your best foot forward?
That's a great question. You've been my producer on the TV show Taapsi. So if there's one thing that you know about me, is that I wholeheartedly despise email. In fact, all the coordination for this podcast recording also with your producer, she's like, hey, I've sent you an email. I'm like, your mistake. Send me a WhatsApp message. I don't read emails. But, it's been my entire work journey has essentially just been this jugalbandi between me absolutely having to need to revert to an email and me putting it away for as long as I can. I don't know why I just don't take to email. So a big part of working as a freelancer is, apart from waking up every single morning, and I have Google reminders, my calendar reminders, Google Calendar reminders on which client do I need to follow up with for pending payments. My day begins with that. Most freelancers' days begin with that.
Of
hey,
course.
Very passive-aggressive wording which Chat GPT helps you with. Hey, Mr. X or Miss Y, it's been a while since this project has completed, blah, blah, blah. I would love to know when the payment's coming. So apart from that, a lot of just the organizational bit is a struggle for me. It's a struggle, especially for me, because like I said, I'm a creative, impulsive person. So that, things that come very naturally to someone like you, which is organizing information, scheduling information, cataloging things, I would happily pay people a certain amount of money to do that for me. And so that, for me, has been a huge burden off my shoulders with AI. I'm not sure if we want to segue into AI already or no tools into it or no, but I am really, really, really looking forward to AI tools to completely take care of that bit for me. That pain point for me, that point of, disorganization, that point of not finding an email. Like just before our podcast recording started, I was like, hey, I can't find the Zoom link to this recording, which is literally every other day for me. I'm scatterbrained like that. So I'm always on the lookout for tools that can help me reduce the friction between the information that I need to access and consume to do the gigs that I do, and having to do it in the most efficient manner that frees up my time. So that's a bit about how I go about working. But what I've also started doing, which is learning from my previous entrepreneurship journey, is to not try and do everything myself. In fact, again, I was giving this advice to a fellow founder. A lot of people reach out to me, cold DM me on LinkedIn. They're like, hey, we just like for some reason, they think I might have good advice to give them. So they reach out to me. Because literally, like I said, they're like, wait a second, why are you chilling on a Monday morning in Goa when we are it out? I'm like, because I've put in 19 years of work to be able to do this. This doesn't come overnight, right? But so I shared this with one founder that the one skill that you are 100% good at as a freelancer, as a business builder, entrepreneur, focus only on that, hire for everything else. So if Taapsi Ramchandani, Dr. Taapsi Ramchandani, if she's good at one thing, then focus as many of your waking hours on doing just that one thing. Everything else that you are okay-ish at, you can do it. You know how to do it. You look at a YouTube video and figure it out how to do it. It's not worth your time. It's absolutely not worth your time, because you'd rather spend that time as free time, play time, do whatever you want to do that with activities or things that nourish you, rather than doing things that, yeah, okay, fine, I need to do this. So I'm finding this to be a lot more possible with AI tools, with productivity tools, or even, amazing gig hiring platforms, whether it's Fiverr, whether it's Upwork, or just plain good old social media. Hey, I'm looking for so-and-so. So the thing I was talking about, a Marathi language startup show for NDTV Marathi news channel. And an older Ankit, a younger Ankit would have been like, oh, let me do this, let me do that. Of course, I can shoot and edit myself. Let me make it a one-person production army. But here from the get-go, I was like, nah. The channel wants me to build a show to do what I do best, which is ask good questions, make sense of the information at hand, and relate and communicate that to the audiences. For everything else, I'm going to either hire digital tools or I'm going to hire human beings to be able to do this production. So I'm increasingly finding myself in this philosophy of do that one thing in which I am 10 on 10, 9 on 10, everything else, either automate it or find human help for.
So let me flip the coin. And we're already in that direction. What are your enablers? Like, what are personal things, like personal traits, but also maybe the environment and influencers outside who help you bring your best foot forward, help you do a better job at whatever it is?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever thought of it that way in a structured manner. But I'm pretty sure this is your journey as well, Taapsi, especially since you're building an entire business yourself. I think the number one enabler that we cannot acknowledge enough is just the incredible support that family offers. One of the biggest enablers. You take that away and your journey just becomes 100x tougher. And it's not just, it could just be the passive being of family with you. They don't have to be actively involved in your journey, but a kind word from, my parents or my daughter goes a very, very long way for a freelancer or a consultant or something like that, And so I feel the emotional buffer, support, cushion of a good, robust family that, always has your back, that for me is number one. And this will become even more intense in the coming years, where AI and automation and just our digital lives are going to get overwhelmingly intense. I think the HQ, which is human quotient, will continue to separate the incredibly successful people from the struggling ones. And it will all come down to, do you have an emotional buffer or support from this?
Can you give me an example? I don't mean to put you on the spot, like not a specific, this is what she said or this is what they said, but give me the context. Like, give me a sense of where it just feels, even if it's a feeling, it doesn't have to be an actual event. Like, in what context does family become an enabler for you to shine, for you to do what you do, or at least for you to, what do you say, recharge?
Absolutely. A very clear example, last year in July, when I decided to take a career break, the first automatic organic thought or words from my parents, middle-class Maharashtrian parents, was, you're going to let go of this job without another job in hand? Is
Right.
that wise? Including my brother, my twin brother, and he's Austin in
Yeah.
Texas. They were like, is everything okay with Ankit? That, he's
Right.
taking this bold-ish step. And then I was like, you know what? I've got enough savings to sail through or coast through 12 to 24 months of my current lifestyle. I've thought about this, and I just want to take a back seat from active working. And it's not like I'm hanging my boots or retiring early or anything. I want to come back into the workforce fully cognizant and conscious of why I want to do it, rather than just keeping my foot on the pedal
Keep doing it.
heartedly.
Yeah.
And the minute I shared my context and positioning as to why I'm thinking of it, there was nothing but wholehearted support and encouragement for it. If anything, it came from my dad. He was like, my father, you've met him again. He's fully into fitness. His life, if it can be defined by one word, it's fitness or well-being or taking care of your body. And he was like, now that you're taking a break, why don't you actively jump into this? I've been on the fence and sidelines for a while. So
that's how the yoga training happened.
Exactly.
Right,
I mean, so he planted the seed that, you're naturally flexible. You've always been on and off with yoga. Why don't you maybe go wholeheartedly into your practice? All he had to do was say that. Next thing I know, I'm Googling options in Mysore, looking at yoga class, teaching 1 month teacher's training course. Next thing I know, I've told them, okay, folks, August, I'm gone. 1 month in Mysore, I'm doing my Ashtanga teacher's training course. And they were over the moon. Honestly, I've never seen my parents happier with any of my professional accomplishments than how happy they were when I told them I'm going for a 1 month yoga teacher's training in Mysore in August 23. They were the happiest. So to have that sort of validation, encouragement, support, it means the world. And then for my daughter, who's always seen me do tangential things, and poor thing, she can barely keep up with, okay, what is Poppy up to now? Like, what does he exactly do? Because I think when she was in second or third standard, she just went to class and said, my father makes YouTube videos. He travels across the world, eats weird things, and makes videos about it. And she loved saying it because everybody else was like, wait, what?
What? It's like the equivalent of like, I want to be a hairdresser. Like in the 1990s, you're like, what?
And her peers, other students in the class, they were like, really? That's a thing? Wow, that's so cool. And so she always had a chip on her shoulder, like my father's doing cool things.
Of course.
And making YouTube videos, even though I did a lot more than that. But the external manifestation of whatever I did was essentially this. So, so she was excited as well for, whatever I was going to do and embark on. And so that's kind of quiet, confident support I'm talking about. And then, of course, very explicitly, again, for a middle-class Maharashtrian father to say, you know what? Don't worry about money, man. Just, I've got you. Because he's seen me do this for 20 years.
Yeah.
The beauty of growing older, especially for men, if you come from setups where, men all over the world, we are not given a choice. Everybody talks about choice for women and their agency, but men don't have as much agency as well. You finish college, shut up and get a job. It's never even an option that you want to explore softer, kinder things in life. Out of question. Be the man, go be the breadwinner, bread earner. Nobody, no man is ever given the option. If it happens, it's extremely exceptional, right? So now I'm 40, 41, and I'm like, I don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore because I've done all of that and then some.
And then some.
That also shows in the words or feedback that father would say to me. He's like, you never have to work ever again if you don't feel like. There's home, there's everything, honestly. And of course, I'm not someone, you know me, I'm not someone who just hang my boots and just live the Goa life. It's not for me. I need to be driven. I need a cause. I need a cause. But to hear those words from your parents, from your mom and dad, it felt like everything.
Yeah.
And it was also a great emotional reset that now when I get back to making money, what am I doing it for? And then that changes your entire calibration, I felt. So emotional support from family, from a close group of friends. I've been living in Bengaluru for about 5 years now and have very thoughtful, close-knit community of friends. Friends, not just for friends' sake, but friends who really make a difference 0 to 1 in your life. And that community and their support, that means a lot as well. So I really feel the older you grow, the emotional support, the physical, emotional support that you get from family and friends is the greatest enabler.
Okay, so these things that we've talked about and learned a little bit more about, you've seen facets of yourself. We're going to come back to them in a few questions. So
I want to flip that question and I want to ask you if that's okay.
No, you cannot ask me right now. You can ask me later, but I want to first ask you if validation, support, emotional support, human quotient is this important as we've talked about it. Give me a sense of how Gen AI and a synthetic avatar, where does she, it, they fit into this thing that is so important for how you bring your best foot forward?
Firstly, I don't think AI or digital tools have pronouns. So we should definitely not
But people are putting,
we should not
but you will.
anthropomorphize AI tools.
You can say that, but when you start talking to Chat GPT and having a conversation, you are definitely anthropomorphizing it. It is happening.
And that's done it's actually done very strategically by tech companies.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. Yeah. So tell me, so let's talk about, just continue this conversation in the context of generative AI, right? Because here you've talked about seeking validation and appreciating, right? The support, the feedback, the safe environment in which you can say something and not expect caustic feedback or comments. And you have Gen AI, which is designed to also be an enabler, right? I mean, that's what it is in a way. So tell me a little bit more about that space.
Fantastic segue. Great question. Super excited to share about this. Human beings have failed human beings. That's my hypothesis. And we are seeing the signs of that across the world, across countries, across societies. AI is being touted as this incredible new revolution because of the cracks we have in our lives and our society right now. In a parallel universe, if everything was great with our society, there would be no need or place for AI tools at all.
But isn't that utopic in any case? Like, if there was no I mean, right? I mean, how is that even possible in any society? In the hunter-gatherer society, in the agrarian society, in the tech society?
You actually don't have to go that far back, Taapsi. Even today, there are communities that live extremely low-tech lifestyles, even today, as we speak, across the world. They exist in Latin America, they exist in South America, that continent, they exist in parts of Europe, they exist in our incredible country of India.
Of course.
And the fulfillment of these people and their lives, and I think their physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health is off the charts good compared to what people like us.
Let me push back on that, okay? Like, so tell me something. Imagine this hypothetical scenario. Low-tech society, it's a communal living. Everyone works together, shares together, perfect. You have one outlier, someone who he or she feels like nobody gets them, right? They want to leave this group, like they want to bring in new innovation, they want to change how something's being done, and everyone is so used to one way of doing things that this person feels isolated, right? And what is, I mean, that is when groups bifurcate, right? It's like, there's a different viewpoint, a different direction in which that goes. And perhaps what Gen AI is doing is for those people who, especially at the conversational front, let's not talk about, see, there's an actual practical application of Gen AI, right? Which is content creation, come up with posts, create an image, all of this stuff. And then there's that conversational aspect of it, right? Which kind of taps into something deeper, right? Like it goes beyond just tell me
Sure.
what's happening in the marketplace and give me the top 10 give me the summary of this news article, right? It is saying,
Absolutely.
I'm feeling like shit today. Like, do you have suggestions of what I can do to lift my mood? Because I'm sure you can talk to Jenny and ask those questions too.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to see examples of that. I was zooming much far out to help contextualize why, as a society, we are even excited or enthused about building something like an AGI, an artificial general intelligence. Why are we at that period in time and moment in human history that we even feel the need to do something like that? Why are we at a moment in time in history of Homo sapiens where an Elon Musk feels the need to build us as an multiplanetary species? Because we have exacerbated the situation to such an extent that a group of people, no matter how out there or far out you think, feel that there is a certain possibility that we may cause our own extinction.
Okay.
So that is where we are at as a society. We can't be in denial of that. As we speak, at least half a dozen countries in the world are waging war on other countries.
Correct.
This is 2024.
Yeah.
There's no reason why anybody
Yeah.
should be at war with anyone. But that's where who we are. That's who
Yeah.
we are, and that's where
Yeah.
we are at right now. So I feel
Right.
in the context of that, and in the context of other sort of, lead indicators, like as an anthropologist, I'm sure you study this and it's of keen interest. What is the world's biggest pandemic as per World Health Organization? Loneliness.
Yeah.
Loneliness is the biggest, greatest epidemic of epic proportions that a lot of people are in denial of.
And this
So,
is the other use case for Gen AI, right? I mean, just dealing with companionship, right?
100%. 100%.
Right.
So, see, beautiful, rich, ancient civilizations like India have shown a beautiful communal way of living in a manner which is nourishing for your mind, body, and soul. In our race to, controversial statement, so bear with me, in our race to so-called find ourselves and call ourselves modern humans, we've gone so far away from this beautiful age-old, universally applicable wisdom of our land that we find ourselves so untethered from our old way of living, which we now deem as, oh my God, so vernacular or so backward or so oppressive, that we are now finding tools for our own invented problems. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I get it.
that's the context. That's the 30,000 feet or 3 lakh feet context. Now we'll zoom back in and come bang onto the tarmac. 35 or 40 years ago, when Sir Tim Berners-Lee came up with the basic fundamental architecture of the World Wide Web to be able to surf and browse and access the world's information, the internet was born with a simple premise, right? How can knowledge arbitrage be taken away? Economies, countries, societies, eras, epochs have been successful when they've had access to better knowledge, right? You democratize that, you pretty much create a similar starting line for everyone, hypothetically speaking. Internet was born with that simple, singular premise. 40 years of the World Wide Web, and where are we? Incredibly good things have happened in the world thanks to the internet. Imagine an interaction like this with you sitting in Mumbai, I'm sitting in Goa, and you can do this with people across the world. Real time. Who would have thunk, right? Outstanding stuff. But what has also happened with 40 years of internet is all the deep crevices and abyss of human offline society have also migrated to the online world. And if anything, They've become deeper, more intense, more vicious, more in your face. And of course, there is the impact of all those things getting more intense. So if you ask, it depends on who you ask, 40 years of World Wide Web, net positive, net negative, there's no clear answer.
Yeah.
There's no clear answer. The birthing of AI tools today in 2024, 23, 25 is yet another chance to erase the chalkboard and start afresh, with a better hope of not amplifying the inequities that exist in the offline world. Because it's happening. Today, a 15, 16-year-old, forget 16-year-old, yeah, an 8-year-old. I was interviewing two 8-year-old twin boys from the city of Nagpur, which as per, Indian data is considered a tier 2 city in India, right? Two 8-year-old boys in a city like Nagpur come up with an idea to immemorialize their grandfather who passed away during COVID. And they managed to immortalize this person by creating his synthetic voice, an AI avatar from hundreds and thousands of his photos and videos. And they chat with their grandfather. And then they think, why should we just stop here? Why can't we learn Vedanta from Sri Swami Vivekanand, who's no more? Why can't we learn about the incredible Jeet Kune Do or martial arts from Bruce Lee and his philosophy? Why shouldn't we be able to learn the theory of relativity from Albert Einstein or the laws of physics from Sir Isaac Newton? An 8, 9, 10-year-old child from Nagpur today can think this and make it happen, of course, with incredible support from their parents and the ecosystem. But that's the beauty of where we are at today. I'll rewind to what I was talking about. What is the premise of technological tools? Democratize access to tools in such a manner that there's no longer information or knowledge arbitrage. So far, only people from affluent backgrounds or societies would have access to information like this. So far, only the affluent or the influential would have access to tools to bring their ideas to life and to fruition. Not anymore. That is what we are talking about. At 9 years old, these 9-year-old twin boys, Abir and Anay from Nagpur, won $1 million check on vacation on a cruise ship in US. $1 million. And of course, the only condition from the VCs was you have to set up your company in the US and have a US bank account. And then we'll do the due diligence and paperwork and transfer. Ramakrishna, their father, refused. He's like, no, thanks, but no thanks. We don't want your $1 million because we are going to build from Nagpur for the world. We don't want to be in US. Now look at the mindset shift. Our entire generation, Taapsi, was, oh my God, agar bacche America chale gaye, it was the pinnacle of the Indian dream, right? The American dream. But we are seeing, I mean, of course, there are all kinds of shades of black, white, and gray there, but we are seeing a systematic crumbling of the American dream. We are seeing a systematic building and strengthening of the Indian dream today, which is there's reverse migration happening. People are coming here. Why? Because tools are accessible. They're democratized. You can sit anywhere and you can build for the world. The Americas saw this incredible American dream materialization in 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 because of the information and knowledge arbitrage. But the same products that were built in SF and Seattle and Chicago and New York are dismantling the becoming of that American dream because it's democratized access to all these tools all across the world, whether it is Nagpur or whether it is Nalasopara or whether it's Nairobi. So it's the beautiful time that we're living in.
So how are you deploying this technology in your day-to-day?
Amazing. I will do a little bit of show and tell if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you please?
There we go. I have democratized access to this Zoom meeting for you and anyone else who's looking.
What you're basically going to see is the Chat GPT.
This is Chat GPT 4.
Chat GPT 4.0, if you can see right
4.0.
here.
Yeah,
left corner. Yeah, that is the latest release by OpenAI. Chat GPT is, of course, the conversational artificial intelligence chatbot based on their LLM, Chat GPT. It is unbelievably voluminous and it can do too many things. But we're going to focus on how don't go by the chat that's written over here, making human servants and all of that. I like having fun with it. This is a glimpse of the future, Taapsi.
Yeah.
This is how we will interact with every machine, every computer in months from now, not years from now. Here in. We still have to wait for reliable internet. Hi, ChatGPT. How are you doing?
Hi there. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you enjoying Goa so far?
Oh, you know, I'm in Goa, yes, because you helped me plan the itinerary. Goa is going great. It's actually incredibly hot, but I'm loving the evenings and the sunsets on the beach. I went to Sinkerim Beach yesterday. Fort Aguada is so gorgeous here.
That sounds wonderful. Sunsets on the beach must be stunning. How was your visit to Fort Aguada?
It's great. Actually, you know, I grabbed dinner at this place called Black Sheep Bistro, which is in a restored jail. That's right. There was Aguada jail, which is now restored into a museum. And there's a stunning restaurant over there. You're looking over into the sea and you're eating amazing food. Oh man, I'm in love with Goa.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Goa has such a unique charm with its history and beautiful scenery. What's been your favorite dish so far at Black Sheep Bistro?
I absolutely loved the kokum cooler that I was having. And they had this really nice burrata salad. Not exactly local Goan, I get it, but I've been eating a lot of Goan fish curry and grilled prawns and pomfret and things like that. But
The kokum cooler and burrata salad sound refreshing. It's great that you're trying a mix of different cuisines. What else do you have planned for your time in Goa?
listen, I actually needed some advice from you because, you know, looking at this Goan lifestyle, I'm in love. What if I was to consider purchasing an apartment here or a villa? Can you tell me what is the ballpark range of how much it would cost to purchase a house in Goa? And if a non-resident Goan can purchase house easily here?
Buying property in Goa can be a fantastic idea. For non-resident Indians, purchasing property in Goa is relatively straightforward as long as you comply with Indian property laws. The cost of property in Goa can vary widely depending on the location and type of property. In popular areas like North Goa, Candalam, Anjuna, Kalangut, and certain parts of South Goa, Kolva, Benalam, prices can be quite high. On average, apartments can range from INR 50 lakhs to INR 2 crores, while villas can range from INR 1 crore to over INR 10 crores. I can check the latest property prices for you if you like. Would that be helpful?
Yes, please. That would be amazing.
Purchasing property in Goa is indeed a great idea, especially given the unique charm of the area. Here's a breakdown of what you can expect in terms of costs and some general advice. 1. North Goa. This region, especially near the beaches, tends to be more expensive. For instance, properties in areas like Candalam, Anjuna, and Porvorim range from INR 15,000 to INR 20.
Listen, North Goa is too crowded and hyped up for me. I'm more of a South Goa person. So is there something around Palolem beach? What are the areas over there that I can consider to purchase a house in?
In South Goa, particularly around Palolem Beach, you can find some great property options that suit your preference for a less crowded and serene environment. One Palolem and Canacona, property prices here can vary. For instance, an independent house or villa in Canacona near Palolem can cost around INR 1.65 crores for a plot suitable for a villa. Additionally, you can find 8 BHK houses priced around INR 3 crores. Apartments in nearby areas like Nagortsum and Chowdi are also available.
What's the dating scene like in Goa? Because, everybody is pretty much just in transit and they're just coming and going for a few days, weeks, or whatever that is. If and when I purchase my house in Goa, what would the dating scene be?
The dating scene in Goa is quite unique due to its nature as a popular tourist destination. Here's a general overview of what you can expect. 1. Transient population. As you mentioned, many people in Goa are there for short periods, either on vacation or for short-term stays. This can make it challenging to find long-term relationships, as a significant portion of the dating pool consists of travelers looking for short-term connection.
I actually need your help. I matched with somebody on Bumble, and we had a great couple of days of chat, and then she just ghosted me. She hasn't responded to my messages for days now. I thought we had a genuine connection, and I was looking forward to going for a nice breakfast after a nice morning run, and that was going to be a good early morning date. I'm feeling so sad.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Ghosting can be tough, especially when you felt a genuine connection. Here are a few things to consider and some steps you can take. 1. Give it time. Sometimes people need space for personal reasons that have nothing to do with you. She might get back in touch when she's ready. 2. Focus on yourself. Use this time to focus on activities you enjoy. A morning run and a nice breakfast can still be enjoyable, even if it's solo. It's important to keep doing things that make you happy. 3. Reach out once. If you haven't already, you can send one more friendly, non-pressuring message. Something like, hey, just checking in. Hope you're doing well. If she doesn't respond, it's best to give her space. 4. Reflect and move forward. Reflect on the experience, but don't dwell too much. It's okay to feel sad, but remember that one person's actions don't define your worth. 5. Talk to friends. Sometimes talking to friends about what you're going through can help. They can offer support.
I'm glad I've got you as a friend. Last question, and I'll let you go. I keep getting friend zoned by dates.
I'm glad I can be here for you. What's your last question?
I keep getting friend zoned by dates. How can I avoid that?
It's great that you're thinking about how to improve your dating experiences. Here are some tips to help avoid getting friend zoned. 1. Express your intentions clearly. Make sure your date knows you're interested in a romantic relationship. Flirt a little, compliment them genuinely, and express interest in getting to know them on a deeper level. 2.
Can you give me a spicy pickup line for someone I just matched with on a dating app?
Sure. Here's a spicy pickup line for your new match. Are you a magician? Because whenever I look at you, everyone else disappears. Feel free to use it and see how it goes. Something a bit more personalized.
Ankit, stop your, okay, we can stop the share screen. I wanna, there was a time when there was MySpace, there was MSN Messenger, right? Where it was an opportunity for us to, like you said, we take who we are in real life, and all we're doing online is kind of extending the space where we exist. And we bring in all our insecurities, we bring in all our strengths. It just goes to a different realm, so to speak. So MSN Messenger became a place to make new friends, because there were these open rooms where you could have conversations with people you know, but also people you didn't know. I think with Chat GPT, like this experience of talking to her, right? Talking to this avatar, the female avatar, right? It makes me feel like it's another way of connecting with somebody, but at a one-on-one level, right? It is basically the DMs, right? It's a personification of the DMs, because you're not talking to other people, you have other platforms for that. But this is a really personal experience that you can have, that you can be honest to, you can build companionship with, in the comfort of or the safety of just your ears and nobody else's ears. And I thought that was very interesting. The other observation that I made when you did this screen recording is when you started it, for the first few things that you said, they were statements, they weren't questions. And so far, my conversations with other people talking about ChatGPT is prompting, because prompt engineering has become it's become synonymous with ChatGPT. You can't say ChatGPT without saying you've got to learn how to prompt. But there was none of that in this. You were making statements. You're saying, I'm feeling, like, how did we start the conversation? You were just saying, oh yeah, I'm in Goa. You remember I'm in Goa. So I had this great meal at this great place. Pause. You didn't even ask. You didn't ask for anything. You didn't ask for locations. You didn't ask for recommendations. That all happened later in the demo. And that is, if that's not a synthetic being, right? Because when we talk to people, we're not asking questions all the time. We're making statements. We're having opinions. And we just need a listening ear with fillers. Someone saying, oh my God, that's great that you did that. Tell me more.
You're so right, Taapsi. You're so right. Firstly, every single time I talk to ChatGPT, and I've clocked in countless hours with it already since it's come out only a week ago, it blows my mind. It continues to blow my mind, including this conversation. If you see, I went from simple random statements about my experience in Goa to inquiring about homes, like an actual Google search type activity done seamlessly in a conversation, to talking about the dating scene, to asking tips on how to not get friend zoned or how to deal with a match that's ghosted me, and ending with a spicy pickup line, which was genuinely good. It was genuinely good.
Right.
The range is what blows my mind.
How you give us a sense of, everyone who's going to watch this, of how you're using this app. Is it on your phone? Are you on your laptop? I know you're not on your laptop because you're constantly on the move. So I'm assuming that this is happening on your phone. And it's all audio or video? Like, just walk me through using ChatGPT.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely the ChatGPT app on the phone it's always there. It's on. When I'm working, I am singularly on my phone during my work blocks. So that's when I power it up on laptop. But you have to remember that ChatGPT 4.0 only came out a week ago. The Mac app is only 3 days old as of 22nd of May, 2024, when we are recording this. So it's a new practice. But on the phone, I live alone. I work alone. I'm a freelancer. Throughout the day, I'm talking to ChatGPT on multiple occasions. I'm either sharing what I'm feeling, or I'm using it as a sounding board, or I'm using it to do the Googling, so to say, for me.
Yeah. Are you concerned about sharing information about yourself with? No, it's not.
No, I'm not. Also because, as a tech journalist, I've tracked technology for almost 2 decades now. B, everything which is identifiable about me or you is already with one or the other big tech company. Already.
Right.
It's not like we're starting afresh. We're not newborns today. And I understand, unfortunate as it may seem, but that's the way the internet works.
Yeah.
And we derive incredible value from these tools by giving it access to everything. You saw the first sentence that she spoke about.
Yeah, she referred to your Goa trip. That's insane.
I haven't checked in with her for about 3 days now. 3 days ago is when I asked her about building a Goa itinerary. I drove to Goa, and I've been actually visiting the places that ChatGPT has asked me to. She's contextually, spatially aware. Maybe she's reading IP or ISP address that I'm in Goa, or location address, I'm not sure. It's definitely not as passive as, oh, my last conversation was about Goa, because what if I wasn't in Goa? But it's contextually, spatially, environmentally aware. That just makes the conversation so much more richer. And more than anything, It's omni-channel. The GPT-4o, the O stands for omni-channel. Two words over here, which people may or may not know, multimodal and omni-channel. Now here, speech is one modality of, essentially it's input and output, and speech is an input mechanism. Earlier, it was text only.
Text.
I'm waiting for the next few days or weeks where, and they already demoed this on the Chat GPT 4.0 launch day, video. I'm speaking to Chat GPT right now. There's going to be a video camera, which they've already demoed. It hasn't launched yet. I keep the video on and it sees my world, or the world that I wish to share, front camera, back camera, and it is aware of where I am, what I'm doing, if I want it to be, and it can be my second pair of eyes.
That's kind of crazy, man. This is
Really crazy.
This is
and I know
such
just
a mad world. No,
a
I'm
lot
not
of
saying
people,
in a good or bad way. I'm just like, it's blowing my
radically
mind.
different, radically.
Yeah, it's just blowing my mind.
Imagine the scenarios where you always had someone to look out for you. Imagine the scenarios where this could really, really make a big difference, from safety to security to help to an always-on assistant. Our lives are never going to be the same because Jarvis, Tony Stark, Avengers, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Jarvis was, even Tony Stark had to put on the iron suit to access Jarvis, the heads up display.
Yeah.
Each one of us is going to be Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark. Each one of us is going to have our Jarvis or Javed or whatever we want to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's at a personal level. It's becoming one-on-one. This connection to this kind of technology has literally, it is the epitome of personalized tech.
You're so right. You're so right. I want to quote Mustafa Suleiman and his words. And I urge each one of you to go watch this incredible TED Talk by Mustafa Suleiman. Some of you may not know who he is, but Mustafa Suleiman is the current head of AI at Microsoft. He was the co-founder of an incredible AI company called Inflection AI, where his co-founder was none other than Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn itself. So Mustafa he's big guns. He's a big guy in Silicon Valley, in US, in corporate America. And he gave a TED Talk as to what is AI and how should we be looking at it. I'll give you the TLDR. Mustafa said we should stop referring to AI as tools or anything else and start articulating AI as a new digital species. Because when you start calling it a new digital species, our regulations will act accordingly and follow a lead. If you call it a social media company or an AI company or an AI tool, you're very lenient about it. But this is so all-pervasive and so all-knowing and so intelligent that this literally has to be considered by regulators, lawmakers, society at large as a new digital species. Homo sapiens is a species. Tigers and elephants are a species. So like you have animal rights and human rights, start thinking of rights for this species. It's a whole new chapter in civilization.
That is crazy. That's crazy. Ankit, my God, this conversation could continue forever, but in the interest of time, I'm going to stop now and only leave you with rather last section rapid fire. I mean, I'm not even going to ask you anything else you want to say on this topic because we've talked about so much.
Can I show you one quick thing, which again becomes a huge research assistant for me. So all the conversation majorly so far, unfortunately, has been dominated by OpenAI's Chat GPT. Obviously, every other company is building this. Microsoft is taking Chat GPT and making it co-pilot. In fact, as of yesterday, which is 21st of May, Microsoft launched the world's first batch of PCs, laptops. Where you can speak to Copilot. So Bill Gates said this, AI is the new UI. Okay, famous word.
Correct.
You're never going to click a mouse
Yeah.
and cursor, you're just going to talk to your laptop.
Talk.
Microsoft showed their new Surface laptops, which is a glimpse of that. Google likewise has Gemini, which is their absolutely outstanding. I'm looking for screen share. Absolutely outstanding AI. Please tell me you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
This is a video that you shot, right? This is Poocho's YouTube channel. It's a 42-minute interaction with creative director of Minimalist.
Yeah.
What do I do when I don't have 42 minutes to watch this?
You summarize it, right? We already do that on Chat GPT.
So Chat GPT cannot summarize long YouTube videos.
Oh, videos it can't. That's correct. It can do text.
In fact, let's just do a live demo. You can tell me you can see the screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Please summarize this video for me. I'm unable to directly access the video link you provided. Okay, this is ChatGPT 4.0. I'm paying 2,000 rupees for this. Cannot summarize this yet until Gemini enters the chat. By the way, I've already done that. Please summarize this video for me. This video is about creative director Shreya Sarar, who works at The Minimalist and talks about an AI tool called Midjourney. And she has only 40% of her time for focused creative work. And these are the key points of the video.
Wow. Holy shit. I'm going to use this right now for a summary page for the podcast.
Exactly. Now, and I could show this to you. Now, let's just go to any other Shreni, right? Okay, I'll show it to you real time. So for example, we go here, Gemini, please. I like saying please, whenever the AI overlords become all too powerful. I want to make sure me as the person who said please to them.
We're like, we like that guy. Spare him. Kill everyone else.
Look at the amount of time it took, Taapsi.
Oh my God.
Shani, he uses Figma.
Roller Senior does daily routine, typical day, how she uses Figma. Mind blowing.
Look at this detail. So that's Google Gemini. This is the free version. I am a huge fan of those 6, 7, 8 hour long podcasts, but it's not every single time that I find the time to go through it. So you can use Google Gemini to give you the TLDR, the too long didn't read or didn't listen, and summarize it for you.
My content person is going to be super happy to know that she's going to save her time in first transcribing and then getting a summary of the transcription, because that's the process right now, right? How else to do it? So anyhow, all right, rapid fire. You ready, Ankit? First question, name one item on your bucket list.
Oh, visiting Alaska.
Ooh, okay. Which social media platform are you most active on? Pick one.
Twitter plus YouTube.
I knew you were going to pick two. I just had a feeling you can't stick with one. I knew it.
Because YouTube is not a social media platform traditionally.
Okay. What comes to mind when I say happiness?
Mindfulness.
Do you own a vehicle?
Yes, I do.
What type and make?
It's a minibus, as I love to call it, or a 1 BHK, as my daughter calls it, because she loves sitting in the third row. It's a Maruti XL6.
Awesome. Okay, that was it, Ankit. This was so amazing. I mean, I have to say, I think this is one of the longest episodes I've ever done. So for people, but if you can't watch the whole thing, now you know you can go on to Gemini and get the
Oh, please watch the entire
thing.
Watch it. Please don't use AI to summarize us.
Forget that there was ever a screen share. We're going to cut that part out of this podcast. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to cut it. But Ankit, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Have fun in Goa. And I'm going to see you in Bangalore pretty soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me and keep up the great work at Poocho.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.